Good evening, folks. Welcome back to another Monday night live stream. Hope everybody's well. Hope you had a fab weekend. Hope your Monday or your bank holiday Monday, if you're in the UK, hope your bank holiday Monday is going well. I hope you've had a day off. I hope you've been maybe doing a bit of hobby or had a nice day. Weather's been a bit rubbish, to be honest, today here. So no fancy adventures outside. A bit of work this afternoon, bit of looking after the little one this morning. But other than that, all is well. So, what are you all up to? Who's doing a bit of hobbying tonight? Who's just sitting chilling? Who's looking forward to seeing all of the community April? I remember what month it was there. All the April painting challenge stuff. I'm looking forward to kind of sharing them as well. I've only briefly looked at them myself as I've been putting all of the photographs into a file to show tonight. So I haven't really looked at them in depth myself either. So it'll be a nice opportunity for me to see a lot of them for the first time in any kind of detail as well. So let's have a look in the chat, see who we've got this evening, and see what everyone is up to. We've got Lord Maiden, Ian, in nice and early. Hello, hello, buddy. How you doing there? Peter Kuhlman, good evening to you. Blizzard says happy bank holiday of some description to you all across the pond. Paul Taylor, evening all, he says. Looking forward to everyone's challenge stuff today. I think, if I remember right, there are 30 to 34 have been entered, I think it is 34 in total, so not a bad little haul of stuff to go through tonight. And as always, I've split it up into like three sort of sections, if you like, purely just in alphabetical order. Just that's the easiest way to do it. And what I'll do is we'll go through like the first 10, 11, whatever it is. We'll talk a little bit about the topic or whatever. We'll do the next 11 or so, have a bit more chat, and we'll just break it up through the stream a little bit like that. So unfortunately, if you are I think it's done by initial order of people's first names, just because that's how it does in the list. So if your name is high up the alphabet, your stuff will be towards the end of the stream. So where we are, Christian Reeves, hello buddy, how you doing, mate? Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a nice Easter as well. Not spoken to you kind of to see how your Easter was, mate. Rob Zunk, hello to you. John Estel says he's looking forward to seeing everyone's work as well, and he's going to be painting some peacekeepers tonight. Nice to see you on brand there, mate. Jim Zorn says, greetings all. Looking forward to seeing the challenge entries. Sadly, nothing from him this month. Terrible, mate. Terrible. Joachim as well there, saying hello, folks. Wayne Hayward, evening to you as well. We've got Major Tom Ed there. Hello, buddy. How you doing? Scott Latham says, evening bacon roll enthusiasts. Phil Campbell says, evening peeps as well. Hope everyone's well. Good morning, VJ. Hope you're doing well. Good afternoon, Andrew Fairbanks as well. Tasty Brain Drain says, hey everyone. Luke Pryor, nice to see you fella as well. Vincentson as well, hello to you. Ian said he's just putting some milliput onto bases for his Gangs of the Undercity and his Ark World models. What do you mean by you putting milliput on, mate? Are you sculpting your own bases, or are you just kind of filling gaps and stuff, mate? Zingbo, good evening to you. He says he's sorting out some laundry just now, but hoping to get some progress on his Cypher Lords for Warcry. Looking forward to seeing all the April models. Yeah, and don't forget, I will also be telling you what May's challenge is tonight as well. Super Pumpkin Man, good afternoon to you. Bobby Clark, he says he painted a bust for his dad's 70th birthday today. I saw that bust, mate, on Instagram today, and it was rather awesome, mate. Very, very nice. And I like the fact that it was special for him as well. It was something that was kind of very personal to him, mate. And did I see something as well? Was it a family member had carved the base for it and stuff? I just thought it was a really nice gift with a bit of heart in it, mate. Awesome work as well on the painting. We've got John Ashley Smith says howdy, checking in from South Ontario. Good evening to you, or good afternoon, I think it might be. George is in as well. Good evening to you, George. Martin Curl says he's watching while building his Enforcer Captain. Hello, mate. How you doing? Thank you for the nice message on there. On what's it called again? On Twitter as well. That's what happens when you're trying to think ahead of the conversation. Ortega says he can't stay at night. Looking forward to seeing everyone's painted minis. Hello in the catch-up, mate. How you doing? Hello, Mr. Tony Howell as well. And Mark Berraclough says, I forgot it was Monday. This is what happens, mate. Old age catches up with you. And Lord Main says he's filling gaps to make the bases flush. That makes sense, mate. I wasn't sure if you were like sculpting bases and stuff tonight. So, yes. So, think we might as well, as it always takes quite a little while to kind of to go through all this stuff. We might as well get started with the first of the batch of April painting challenges tonight. So yeah, like I said, there is a total of, there's 34 entries. I've got a couple of pictures as well, but I haven't really included them. They're just in the folder there. We'll get to them at the end or something like that. You didn't come here to see my stuff. So we'll start, if I can come over to here. Yes, it all works. We'll start with a certain Mr. Adam. Is it Woznitsa? I always struggle to pronounce it, mate. I hope at some point somebody will give me like a is it like a phonetic way to say it? We'll just say Adam now. But so yeah, Adam's done. He said he's done some Necromunda stuff, some sort of old 40k stuff, and he's also done Rogue and Gambit from Marvel Crisis Protocol. For those that don't know, the subject this month was On the Warpath, kind of to half celebrate the launch of Firefight coming out by Mantic, and also we've got the Dead Zone Summer Campaign coming up as well. So the idea was to paint a sci-fi miniature. Ideally, maybe something from Firefight or from Dead Zone or something in line with that. But if that's not your jam, just any sci-fi type stuff. So that's exactly what he's done. So let's have a look at these. So I'm not familiar with Necromunda stuff or all 40k stuff, really, to be fair. So unless somebody's actually told me what the models are, I generally tend not to know. But yeah, so we've got a couple of models here. Nice colour choices. I always like a kind of like a bit of a bold sort of spot colour in there. Love the greens on here, and I think he mentioned something about sort of going to work on these gems as well. But looking awesome, mate. Love those. Love the colour on here. I'm thinking, I think he said these are kind of older models as well, so I'm wondering if these are old like metal sculpts. I'm not familiar with them, like I said. But yeah, lovely use of colour. I think Necromunda can really get away with sort of a bit of outlandish punk colour schemes to them. But love the choice of different colour hair and stuff like that. Really nice, mate. As you can see at the back of it there as well. See the hair a little bit better. Looks almost kind of sci-fi western, this one, and definitely looks like one of the older models. many purity seals in there as well, but nice. I've got no idea whether these things are kit bashed or anything like that. Not familiar with the models, but yeah, really nice. Another one there as well. I love how the guns always seem about 10, like as if you try and hold it, it would be like pulling down to the ground. It would be so heavy to carry. I love that on the models. But yeah, nice model, nice colour choices. Love the kind of the very western sort of browns and tans. Very nice. And then a couple of Marvel ones. Love this explosion here, mate. Really nice on the base. Fantastic work there with the kind of the smoke and the explosion. Lovely, just really nice, neat paint job as well. Love the Gambit model as well, with the cards coming flying out there as well. And somebody actually using those little bottles that you get with the bases. Is this base the normal base? I've not seen this model. I haven't got the newer releases for Marvel. But is this the normal base for this guy? I quite like that, actually. Anyway, really nice models, mate. Very nicely painted. Thank you very much for taking part in the challenge. And I look forward to seeing your stuff next month as well. Next up, Mr. Andrew Fairbanks, and he's painted a couple of Eldar models here. This was the one where he said he took ages on the gems and stuff. He'd really kind of gone to town on them. I remember now. But yeah, love the kind of bold choice of going with white, which is never a good or an easy colour, should I say, to paint and highlight and shade. But yeah, it looks really good there. Nice tidy on the greens. Nice bit of highlight in there as well. Love the basing on them as well. But yeah, you can definitely see you've spent a bit of time. If I kind of zoom in here, you can see you've spent a bit of time highlighting and putting a bit of shine on those little gems as well. Nice work, man. Nice work. Let's have a little look as well. See if because what I've got here as well, folks, is I've obviously got the chat hidden away there. So if anybody is kind of seeing anything, I can't really see what they're saying. Ian said he wants to see my stuff as well. We'll come back to this one. We'll come back to that because there's some nice comments in there. I'd rather read through properly. Ben Mitchell, hello matey. I'm looking at the screen, not looking at the camera. Hello mate. He's been painting Therese Washington here, which is a leader model for GCPS, which comes inside the Dead Zone 3rd edition box, but I think you can now buy it separately as well. But it's a really nice resin model. Lovely work there as well on there. Love the kind of the lenses here. I've painted this model, and it's kind of smaller. The details are smaller than you'd think, like, looking at these pictures. But love what you've done there with the kind of the goggles on there. Really nice highlighting on the green. Like the little tuft on the base as well, mate. And the little kind of the enforcer, whatever it is. I don't think it is an enforcer. I don't even know what kind of sort of armor that is. I think it's Veerman. I think it's Veerman armor. But yeah, looks really nice, mate. Fantastic colour choice as well. Nice work, buddy. Thank you for taking part. Blizzard's the man himself. He's been painting 4 of the Rippers here as well. Again, from Dead Zone or from Firefight by Mantic. And you've got a couple of Ripper Rainmakers here and a couple of Ripper buzzsaws. Ripper, what are they called? Yeah, I forget their names now. My mind's gone blank. But yeah, I love that bold purple colour, mate. Really like that. In purple goes really nice with the green as well. So nicely done. Love the bases. I always quite like these kind of... I quite like a simple base to unify an army. Because when you start getting fancy with basing, it looks great if you're doing kind of like 10 models. But if you're doing an army of kind of like 40, 50 models of which Marauders are... Something simple but effective works really well, I've found. And I love these kind of cracked desert bases with the little tufts on. Looks awesome, mate. Purple, really nice choice. And you've done these guys justice, mate. So yeah, fantastic. Really like that. Camo, hello to you, buddy. He's done Necromunda Jotun Servitor Ogren. That's what it is. I wrote that down so I'd remember. Because I'm not like I say, I'm not familiar with this kind of stuff. But really, really nicely done, mate. Love the choice of orange. Always, whenever you see anything in kind of orange overall stuff, it always gives that kind of work, prison kind of type vibe to it, which I think works really well for this model. You can see it from the back there as well. Nice on the basin as well. And this one here, is he? I was going to say, why has he lost an arm there? I'm sure he said something. That's what I think. The 2 separate weapons here, I think they're magnetized. He said something in the text of the email about them being magnetized so he can switch between the different weapons. So I think that's a nice piece of work there, mate. Nicely done. We've got Chris Lupton, or Lupton, should I say? And he did say, he says, I managed to paint a couple of sci-fi models in April. Meet Captain Wild of the Dark Angels and Tom Brindle, the Denim Dwarf. He says, Captain Wild is a classic 1990 Dark Angels captain that was sold by GW made to order recently, and decided to paint him in colour scheme that predates even this model. The original Black Dark Angels colour scheme from Rogue Trader in 1990. I think it looks much better than the current official dark green colour scheme, even if black power armour is a bit of a pain to paint. And he said Tom Brindle is a modern model but is obviously sculpted in a retro style. They're from a company called Satire Art Studio, who seem to specialise in old Hammer style models. He was a lot of fun to paint, except when the join between his hoverboard and his smoke trail broke apart at the end of painting last night and required a bit of fixing and repainting. But he's pleased with the end result despite the setback. So there was a bit more of a backstory on some of these, so I thought it was worth doing them. This is really nice, actually. I don't think I've ever seen Dark Angels in a black scheme. As I said, I'm not that familiar. But this is really nicely done. The old Space Marines, they certainly have a certain kind of charm to them. I'd say that. But love the free hand on here as well. I don't think that. I think the cross might be painted freehand, but that might be a tiny little skull, might be a transfer swing, but it looks really clean. Love the little kind of gem there as well. We might just have a challenge one month about painting something with gems on it, because I do quite like how they look. And this is really cool. I do like this, and I can imagine that to exactly where it would break as well. But yeah, this is really cool, buddy. Love the dwarf aesthetic on that as well. I thought you had trainers on it first, that's why I went back. Really nice again on this kind of, it's definitely got this kind of Back to the Future 2 vibe going on it there. Even the gun looks a little bit kind of Overwatch type thing. Love the basin as well with the kind of the yellow lines on, and I love. You say, is that freehand? I bet it is. I bet it is freehand. It looks really cool anyway, or it might be like kind of like what do you call like pen type thing, but it looks cool nonetheless. Love them, mate. Absolutely love them. Awesome models. Well done, buddy. Thank you for sharing them. We got Christian in as well. Christian Sabine. He's done it. Tyrannid. I forgot what they were called there. And I'm sure he said something about he hadn't done anything and he kind of rushed this out. I wish I could rush stuff out this good. I always fancied painting some of these purely just to kind of go to town on the carapace type stuff. But it looks really nice, mate. Love the purple here and the shading and the highlighting stuff. Love the work on the teeth with a little bit of black lining on it. Base is really nice as well with that little bit of green ooze and the kind of almost like the bony, like striations on the claws and on the carapace stuff. Awesome, mate. I love that. See it there from the other side, the little tuft there as well. Looks awesome. Love the kind of dark purple into the recesses there as well. And yeah, some fantastic work on that. But love that base as well. Love that really bright green. It works really well with the kind of greeny colour on the claws here. It really does contrast and kind of complement it really well. Awesome stuff. Love that. Claudio, hello to you, buddy, if you're watching this. He's been painting Furple and Tigrax. So Furple is a Dreadball kind of coach model type thing, which I really like actually. And Tigrax it's a model that come out for Overdrive by Mantic, but it's also available for use in Dead Zone as well as part of the Rebs models, I think. I do love this model. There's definitely some kind of like Waterboy vibes about it. Tigrax is a great model as well. I don't believe it comes with that kind of bit of basing on there as well, so I do quite like that. But yeah, looks awesome. Nicely done. Love the highlighting and shade here on the fur. Nice colour choice as well. Not something I would have necessarily thought of myself, but does look awesome with that colour choice. And again as well, love this with the little Dread Zone logos on the back and the bit of kind of like highlighting as well around the tail there as well, and the little cup in his hand to drink. Looks really good work, mate. Very, very nice. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Claudio, for submitting those. Colin Beale's up next, and Colin said this month he really inspired him, so he finished off his Endure the Stars 1.5 player characters. He said, I've done the male and female scouts, the geneticist, and finally the powerlifter. And then finally from Dead Zone Firefight, I finished Blaine on a jet bike that I got courtesy of the Discord members donating Mantic points. I did see that conversation. So thank you very much to the Patreons in the Discord group, helping out a friendly community member. So yeah, this is a nice model. I love this kind of engineering kind of vibe on this as well. Nice colour choices. Is that a bit of blue on there as well? Just kind of, I don't know if that's blue or if it's a bit of a shade, but either way it works. Like the kind of texture to the base as well. Nice work. I'm not familiar with these models. Like you said before, for a game I'm not that familiar with, and I don't know if they're the models for the range or if they're like 3D printed or anything like that, but they're certainly very nice. Yeah, love that choice of the kind of the yellow with the light grey. Looks really good. Nice and clean. Awesome work, mate. Awesome work. And then we've got this kind of power loader type thing. Very, what's the word? Like it kind of looks a little bit alien-esque, or even a bit like, doesn't Avatar have some kind of mechanical loader things like that as well? Love the model. Like the bits of scratches and that to the work and sort of dings in the metal. Very nice. And then last up, I think it is, we've got Blaine on the jet bike as well. I don't think I'm familiar with this model actually. He's saying it comes as you can get it with Mantic points, but I must admit I don't think I've actually seen it before. So nice to see it, mate. Thank you very much for submitting them. Love the colour choice as well here. Again, the blue and the kind of sort of rusty orangey brown goes really nice together. Awesome work. Thank you again for taking part, mate. Mr. Dan Kennedy, who's been painting some Enforcers. The kind of, I think he said he painted them green and then he went back and brightened them up again. I'm sure I'm remembering him talking about these properly. But yeah, really, really nicely done, mate. Love. We had a bit of a conversation about these, and I think I said since painting my own, I think I like them more than when I've seen them in the pictures, because they always just reminded me of like the same problems I've always had with painting like Space Marines, when they're one just big block of colour kind of thing. And you can either look at them two ways. One way you can say makes them super simple to paint because you've got one big block of colour that you can work from. The other side is they can get a bit dull painting lots of them quickly. But I love what he's done by breaking up the kind of around the edges of the shoulders there, breaking up the sort of the body from the chest and from the legs, and the base has really set them off as well. And I always like to see that kind of bright spot colour all the way through the army. It just gives a really, really good focal point. So great work on them, mate. Love them. Look forward to seeing them on the table soon. And last in this section, we've got Dave Mackay, who's been painting Kirby and a Star Saga door. Really, really cleanly done, mate. Love the detail in here with the bullet holes and the little kind of control panel on there. Kirby looking rather happy with himself. These are from Star Saga, for those that don't know. But yeah, they certainly fit this month's sci-fi stuff. So thank you very much, mate. Yeah, even going to town on a bit of shading and highlighting as well on the doors as well. Just kind of showing off now. So yes, thank you very much, mate. What we'll do is we'll go back to the main screen. I'll get my chat back up and we'll see what folks are saying. This is where I have to now go back and go, which one is people talking about when we're talking about that one? Tony Booth Leiden, hello mate, that's why I wanted to come back and read. He said, yeah, really enjoy painting challenge showcase nights. I don't think any other channel does anything like it, not that I've seen. I'm not sure they do, mate. I think it's one of those things where unless you're part of the community and you want to see your stuff on the stream, they're not necessarily the most popular streams in general, but it's nice to kind of share in the work that people doing. I'm trying to encourage people to pick up their paintbrushes and kind of celebrate the fact that people get stuff done. So yeah, I love doing them as well. I love seeing them. John saying, yeah, afternoon here, just after 4 p.m. Got to start dinner soon. Tony Howell saying hello there as well. Ian says, yes, we want to see your stuff too. We'll get to it. Ian says, yeah, they look like the old metal ones. Yeah, classic ones. And George is saying, yep, old metal stuff. Super Pumpkin Man says, old Eldar. There you go. Classic Mad Donna, brilliant. Is that... I've heard of that model, the Mad Donna model, but I've never seen it before. So there you go. Now it makes sense. Paul says, I think I misunderstood the topic for this month. I thought it was that you had to paint a squad or an army, so I didn't submit anything. But I definitely painted something for sci-fi. No, it was just... Hello, by the way, Paul. No, it was just a sci-fi model, mate. Just paint some sci-fi stuff. It can be one model. It could be an entire army or a squad or anything like that. But yeah, I always post all of the details about what the challenge is and what you need to do. I'll post it on the Facebook group, and it'll be in the like announcement section. If you go to the BlackJack Legacy Facebook group and look at the pinned topics, it's always in there. I always post one to the YouTube channel as well. So if you go to the community tab in my YouTube page, it's posted in there as well. And I also post it in the Patreon as well, in the Discord for Patreon members. So yeah, if you ever worried about like what's the closing date or what's the subject, anything like that, it's always posted in those three places. Ed saying that Punk Girl always reminds me of the 80s Citadel Amazons. Yeah, they're models I've heard of, but I'm not familiar with. Tony saying the minis are fantastic. And Ian saying no, Rogue's base goes over the top of a normal base. Okay. Like I say, I've not picked up the latest models yet, so I haven't seen those ones in the flesh. Let's have a little look here because I just jumped up there. John saying love the old Necromunda models. Wish he'd bought some of them back in the day. John says, I need to photograph some of my recent projects sometime and then figure out this newfangled electronic mail thing. I'm sure you can manage it, mate. Yeah, Tony's saying great work. They aren't easy to get so precise. Ripper Mauler, that's what it is. Is it Judge? Is it? Thank you, Judge. Ripper Mauler, that's the one I was trying to think of. There's a Ripper Rainmaker and a Ripper Mauler. For some reason, it was just having the buzzsaw on it completely threw my mind. Andrew says, on the Eldar, lefty was a work in progress, righty was complete. I forgot to take pics before turning them in for the friendly local gaming store, so that was the beside. That was what your email said, mate, wasn't it, about that? I'll get that many emails, mate. It's trying to remember who did what. Let's have a look. Yeah, Gladstruck as well. Good evening, mate. Seeing really nice purple, same as Tony there. Scott's seeing some nice colour schemes. Zingbo says, got the year wrong in my email. Rogue Trader is from 87, obviously. I've got no idea, buddy. Christian just sharing the link there for the Patreon as well. Thank you very much. Zingbo says the cross on the captain's shoulder pad is a decal. I painted some highlights on it. Well, it looked really cool, mate. It didn't stand out like a decal. And he says the slogans on the hoverboard are home printed decals. I wish I could freehand that well. Well, it works brilliant, mate. And your decal application methods are definitely on point, as the kids would say. Yeah, Super Pumpkin Man saying the Dwarf Rocket Ride is my favourite. Andrew saying the Nid looks good. Phil saying that looks fantastic. Johnson's been slowly painting a Crimson Fist Force from nothing but old metal and hybrid models from the pile for the last year and a bit. Trying to keep the Rogue Trader vibe. Nice to have a little bit of a project, mate. Super Pumpkin Man says, as a long-time Tyranid player, they are always fun to paint until you remember you need to paint 30 more the exact same way. Yeah, and I think that's probably where like things like contrast paints and speed paints come into their own when you're doing those really big armies. It's something I'm definitely conscious of now, and it's something I would encourage people to kind of give some thought to before they start painting this stuff. Is I see some people doing some amazing work on like a single model, whether it's a Space Marine, whether it's a Tyranid, whatever it is like that. But there's a real difference between painting an army and painting a model. If you're just painting for a bit of fun and you're not really kind of looking to paint sort of like a big army, you knock yourself out, you take all the time in the world. But sometimes if you're painting, especially if you're painting with the intention of playing that army, sometimes you do need to kind of trade off a little bit about kind of quality of finish versus speed of getting them done. And I know it's not just about like knocking them out as fast as you can, but sometimes you can I've spent way too much money on projects and never completed them because I have this aspiration of painting this beautiful army kind of thing. I've learned now over time that there is a happy medium between kind of speed and quality, and actually just getting stuff finished has its own sort of rewards as well. Yeah, Andrew saying I learned with Nids just to paint everything the same colour, carapace and skin, then dry brush. Yeah, like I say, you can definitely sort of like knock them out quickly that way. I'm guessing that would be a whoops, but sent it Andy anyways. He may show. Okay. Tony saying he loves them. Jamie Lockley, evening mate to you. How you doing? Scott saying, evening everyone. I will rewatch in the morning, but what I've seen so far, everyone smashed the challenge. Good job. Looking forward to seeing the rest. Thank you, buddy. Camo, hello to you, mate. Good morning. I don't know whether you saw your stuff there, mate. We've just been looking at your things. Paul Taylor says, I don't know how anyone paints full armies. I've only been painting a year, but I've definitely realised I'll never want to do a huge army. I think it's like I say, mate. It's about kind of expectations, and it's about like not confusing expectations with reality, really. I think, you know, you just, if you want to paint an army, paint an army. If you just want to paint something for painting's sake, or you want to paint to the best of your ability, choose like a single model or something like that. But that's why I've been doing these videos recently, the painting Enforcers and the painting Marauders one, because I'm trying to show people that actually sometimes you don't always need to kind of follow the Sarastro or the Angel Heraldez stuff. Like, it's nice to kind of push yourself and try and do the best you can. But if you're painting an army to get it on the table, you just sometimes want to just do some shortcuts and get it done. Martin saying the comment about painting 30 Nids is exactly why he chose a Monster Mash Force. Nothing smaller than a Tyranid Warrior, nothing less than 2 wounds. Tony's saying, yeah, I like these are a bit of bonding thing for the community. Yeah, I agree, mate. It's nice to kind of get everybody together and have a look at them. And Paul says, I can imagine contrast paints are a godsend for it. You're not wrong, mate. You're not wrong. Right, let's dive back in and we'll have a little look at, if I can shrink these ones down again and go back to here. Oh, technology, working as it should. So we'll start with Mr. Ed Handley. Major Tom there. He's done the Void Dancers of the Mask of the Frozen Stars, which are, I'm assuming, are Harlequins. and they are looking rather nice. I always like a bit of background in there as well. Always sets them off, always grounds them in a little bit of reality. Well, reality, you know what I mean. But yeah, nice, mate. Nice work. Love them. That yellow, really nice. People keep telling me how hard it is to paint yellow, and I know it's not easy. Excuse me, there's some shortcuts you can do in it, which I don't think Ed's done here. But yeah, there's definitely some shortcuts you can do with yellows. One of the best shortcuts, sorry getting off the topic of your stuff, mate, was Lamenta's yellow glaze over the top of yellow when it was a thing. But GW don't sell it anymore now, and I've got one pot of it, and I'm always hesitant to use it on stuff, like more than like the odd model, in case I decide to put it across a full army and then run out of the stuff. I'd love to try and get my hands on some more. But yeah, these models, mate, awesome. Love the colour choices, the purples, the yellows, the kind of the grey whites, all come together really, really nice. I'm assuming is this for kill team or something like that, mate? Is that what it's for? Or is this just like a one unit from an army or something? But yeah, nice work, mate. Yeah, I'm just getting absorbed in having a look at it now, mate. Fantastic work, mate. Thank you very much for submitting it, George. This is a core space engineer, which he said he's going to be using probably at the moment for his GCPS army. And the core space stuff is all kind of single piece sort of PVC plastics, like board game piece stuff. But there's loads of detail in it. I was really surprised with the quality of their minis. Really nice, mate. Love the colour choice as well. That kind of mustardy yellow on there really does suit that kind of sort of uniform type colour. But yeah, nice work, mate. Thank you very much for submitting it as well. Lord Maiden, hello, buddy. So he's done a couple of things here. He's done some Judge Dredd, Judge's Gang. I think it's called the Judge's Gang. I can see Judge Dredd, and Judge Hershey, I think it is there, but I don't really know who the rest are. But yeah, really nice, mate. Love how you've gone with the classic colours, the green, gold, and black with the red trims on the helmets as well. Looks really nice, mate. And this is kind of what I mean about sort of like seeing an army all together, like, and this is not meant as a kind of like as a negative, but getting it finished and seeing the full army in a shot together just really makes them look cool together, rather than just focusing on one individual model. And because what you do is, like, if you focus on one individual model, it ends up being like 10 times the size, so you instantly see all the bits that you didn't do. I love seeing these kind of big shots of things done like that. So yeah, awesome work on that one, mate. He's done a street gang as well, which again, I'm not familiar with the game or the models themselves, so I'm assuming these are kind of like sort of the gangers that they're fighting against. But yeah, there's some awesome sculpts in there, some really nice colour choices as well. Love that red and white on here, really works well. Love that kind of the punk vibe on these guys with those kind of look like Bill and Ted sort of futuristic glasses on. The punk mohawk there as well. Not sure what these are, these kind of little weapon turret type things. But yeah, they look awesome together, mate. And then he's got some more pictures with a bit more close up so we can kind of see them in detail. But yeah, it's that kind of that green is so classic kind of 80s Judge Dredd. I love that the green with the black and gold. Awesome, mate. You can see here. This one looks a bit more Infinity-esque. Could it be something like that, mate? I'm not really sure. But there's some nice choice of different models in there, mate. Love it. You've definitely been knocking them out this month anyway. The painting pile looks suitably large. So thank you very much, buddy. Awesome work as always. And thank you for submitting them. Jamie Snow. So Jamie said he's been working on a mix of things. He says here you can see my most Warpath minis. Still using 99% contrast paint. Nothing wrong with that, except where there's metallic, with a zenithal and pre-shade dry brush system. This is what I mean about sometimes you can kind of get something that works for you. So he's got the dreaded amble. He said he's not too happy with the larger carapace panels. Definitely hit the limit of contrast paint on large flat areas using a brush here, splotchy in places. Contrast paints can be like that, but that's sometimes where you can get it with like a stippling of a dry brush over the top of it. I like to use contrast paint sometimes as just a really highly pigmented base colour and then kind of work from that. He said he's got his Plague Marine from Blackstone Fortress. So much trim. He's got Kilgore from Super Fantasy Brawl. Tried pushing the contrast with the flesh and the hair. And he's got Sulka, again from Super Fantasy Brawl. He said, forgive the mold lines. I hate trying to get the lines of board game mini hard plastic. I'm never that fussed about mold lines, mate. Life's too short. He said, plus it's a board game. I ain't got time for that. So this is his Amble. Yeah, I think that looks awesome, mate. Really nice colour choice as well. The orange and the blue contrasting against each other there. Looks awesome. Love that the skin tones there as well. The kind of the bits of flesh. And these suitably grubby looking grub type things. Really, you see mainly contrast paints, but I was thinking that green looked really nice. I was thinking that doesn't look like contrast paint. But yeah, awesome work on that, mate. This is the one we're seeing so much trim. I remember painting some of these as well. And yeah, there is a lot of trim on them, unfortunately, mate. But yeah, you've done a cracking job on it. This is Kilgore from Super Fantasy Brawl. I'm a big fan of this model. Is there another angle for it? Yeah, there we go. He's a kind of like a troll type character. But yeah, really nice, mate. Love what you've done there. Nice choice on the colours. I see what you mean about the hair as well, about trying to kind of push it a little bit. Looks nice. And then Sulka. And again, I think I used contrast paints on mine as well. I seem to remember when I did Sulka, especially with those kind of snake scales. But yeah, it looks awesome, mate. Really, really like it. And then there is the Zort. And you can see there a moment where you've done the highlighting over the top of the contrast. I think it looks fantastic, mate. I think it looks really, really good. Nice highlighting around the kind of the gut area as well. So nice work, man. Nice work. Got Joachim, and he has been working on some my mind went blank there. Some Veeman for Dead Zone, I believe. Potentially up for Firefight as well. Love the colour choices. Love the base in the mate with the plants on there as well. I just, these are the kind of models you can really get away with pushing some kind of brighter colours. And I think these kind of the greens and the pinks and the yellows, it just works really well on these, mate. Really nicely done them. Better different angle there as well. Love the damage on the building as well. Brave man doing the hazard stripes. I can never make them look as neat as that. That looks brilliant, mate. Love the little kind of half-filled vials as well. Great work here on the nightmares. Yeah, really, really nice work, mate. Love the colour choices. See them a bit closer up here as well. Nice shading on the skin as well. Looks great. Love all the pipes and stuff. Really, really nice, mate. Sometimes when you've got like lots of bright colours, it can end up looking a bit garish, but I think you've managed to pull it off, mate. It's looked really, really good pulling them. The pink and green together looks good. Love the highlighting on here as well. I couldn't really see that on the other pictures, but I love that yellow highlighting, mate. Nice work, buddy. Nice work. Mr. John Binham, nice to see you as well in this challenge again. He sent me a couple of models. One of them is a Necron. I could say a Necron warrior. It might not be a warrior, but I think it is. But I do love the highlighting on these hoses here and the kind of the glow to the is it like a ghost weapon? I think it is. And especially around the eyes here as well. Nicely done. These are another army that you can get away with doing them quite simple and doing them really quick, but focusing on things like the weapons can really sort of lift it to a different level. So yeah, nice work on that one, mate. And then he's also got a Marauder Brawler there as well. And I was trying to work out what that base was there, mate, when I saw it before. But I don't know what it is, but I really like it, mate. It looks cool. But yeah, really nice work. I actually considered doing a kind of a more ready kind of skin tone on my Marauders as well. But I thought because I was doing a paint scheme for a video that people might want to follow, I thought I should kind of stick to the traditional green. But I must admit, I painted some Troll Bloods a long time ago, and I did some like red skinned Troll Bloods and stuff. And I did consider doing that for these, mate. But I think that it makes them look kind of like guerrilla warfare much more without the green skin, and it allows you to kind of open up the colours, because I think that having the green skin can really sort of pin down where you have to go with the colours. But yeah, really nice work, mate. Fantastic. Love that model. Love that paint job. Mr. Estel, hello to you, buddy. He's been doing some Forge Fathers and absolutely knocking it out of the park by quality and by volume there. Smashing. Looks great. Can't wait to see these on the table. Even the greenery in the background kind of sets it like in a bit of a realistic world as well. But some nice mix of different models in there. Some Steel Warriors in there. We've got the is it a Jotson cannon? I think it's called. Yeah, some nice work. Love the color choice as well, mate. The gold, the purpley blue and the gold together works really, really well. And he's also been dabbling with a bit of 40k Terminator there as well. So nice work, man. Again, love the color choice, nice and clean. Basin's nice as well. Don't know if that's a kind of homemade base or if that's the base it comes with or what, but do like the basin on that as well, mate. Nice work. Mr. John Jack, he's done an Ogre Boomer Sergeant that he's using for a Hulk in his Marauder faction in Dead Zone and Firefight. Now this is rather nice. I do like the weapon on this model where it looks like it's kind of like the spent shell casing kind of coming out in a puff of smoke there. Love the lighter. I'm a big fan of the lighter green skin when it comes to kind of Marauders, and I like what you've done there, mate. Really nice skin tones. And yeah, the basin, bit of Dead Zone basin hanging out there, which I like. And yeah, just some nice colour choices, mate. I think sometimes like less is more when it comes to colours as well, and having this kind of almost fluorescent green skin is almost using that as the spot colour to make the whole thing pop. So yeah, nice work, man. Thank you very much for submitting it. Thank you for taking part, Mr. Pryor. So he's been doing some Star Wars Legion stuff, and he's got his E-Web Blaster here, which I know you always do clear bases, mate, and I must admit I'm generally not that big a fan of clear bases on my own stuff because I quite like doing the basing, but I must admit when it comes to kind of Star Wars Legion with these little notched out bases, it's not necessarily a bad choice. I quite like that, mate. Nice work on those, mate. Nice and clean as well. Nice and sharp. Loving that. These guys, love these. These are Inferno Squad. And I like how you got a mix of the guy without the helmets as well. I don't think I've ever seen these models for Star Wars Legion. But nice work on them, mate, as well. The red really pops on them. Love how that looks. And then we've also got, lastly, we've got some Snowtroopers as well. And again, just really nice colour choices, mate. Love how they come together. A nice bit of highlighting as well on the cloth, just to make it stand out. The white looks great. There's plenty of kind of shade in it as well in contrast, so it doesn't just get lost. Nice work, man. Love those. Marco as well. He included this one, but I don't know what these models are, but they were included in the email that he sent me, because the first email didn't have the pictures on, so I sent a message saying you haven't sent me the pictures, and then he sent me these, but the explanation didn't mention what these are. So I'm not familiar with these models, but they look pretty cool anyway. And then this was is it a Varangian god for his Ariadne Cosmoflot for Infinity. And yeah, Marco's a painter. He knows what he's doing. He's going there with the tartan as well on the base. Love the shine to the axe head. The hair looks really good. The beard looks nice and clean as well. Really like that, mate. And yeah, looks awesome. Big fan of Infinity models. They always look good. And Matthew Goodacre, last one in this section. He's been doing 3 Blade Guard veterans and 5 Marines. These are rather nice, mate. I remember painting these from the Indomitus set, and I must admit there's so much detail on them, it was driving me insane, I'll be honest. It's one of the things that a lot of 40k stuff is, there's so much stuff that you can't just kind of like dry brush the whole thing. You really have to pick out the details, and when you're doing a big army, that can become tiresome. So you have my full sympathies, mate, painting these. I've painted them and it was a pain in the backside. But yeah, nice work on them, no, mate. Love the colour choices. Is it your own particular sort of your own chapter, or is it part of an army I'm not familiar with? And then we've got these as well. These are these 5 Marines. Nice choice on the basin, mate. Love the kind of like the the scorched earth on there as well. Love the green colour with the red, the green and the red contrast. Lovely. That's exactly why I used them for my enforcers for Firefight. Yeah, really nice. And I like what you've done with the guns as well. Most people, I mean, people drill the barrels out and stuff like that. But most people, I've never seen anyone really kind of painting the barrels like that. I think it looks really, really nice, man. So, yeah, that's the end of the second section on that one as well. So awesome! Thank you very much, everyone that submitted those, and we'll come back and we'll look at the last section in a bit. And let me scroll back here as well, and I'll try and pick some of this out. I don't think I'll be able to go through everybody's comments because there's quite a lot in here, but I'll pick bits out. Yeah, Jamie Lockley, hello mate. Seeing the Gambit mini looks great. Where are we up to as well? Let's have a little look. I think we'll start with this one. I think Kodos, hello mate. He says there's some nice colour schemes that look terrible on a single model, but very well on an army and are much easier to do. Yeah, I think it's like, I think sometimes you can, if you're doing a single model, or you're doing like a captain model or a leader model or something like that, you can kind of spend a bit more time on it and stuff. But you just got to sometimes be careful that you don't spend too much time on that one model, and then it kind of stands out too much from the whole army. Paul saying there's room for both when painting an army. The trick is learning when and where to apply the effort. I'm painting a Saga warband, most of it's speed paint, but the characters receive more attention. Yeah, I guess that kind of follows on from what I was just saying before. I think it's knowing where the balance is, because you can kind of, if you overdo it on the characters sometimes, then they stop kind of fitting in with a very quickly painted army. I mean, you're a cracking painter, mate. So I think you obviously know what you're talking about. But when it comes, I'm not a fantastic painter. I can sit and I can take my time and I can do a nice paint job. But if I spent that amount of time on like my character models, they would look like they're from a different army compared to the actual like the short-cutted speed painted armies that I do anyway. Tony said, I love painting single minis to my style. I'd never paint an army, not my thing, but that's fine. Frees me up to paint whatever I like. Yeah, like I say, mate, if you're not painting with the purpose of playing, if you're just painting purely for the, like, you know, for the enjoyment of painting, just do whatever you want anyway, really. All I'm trying to suggest is that for those folks that get sidetracked when they're doing a project, who maybe want to finish an army, but then end up trying to kind of finish it to too high a standard, especially for your first army. You almost want to get your first one done, and you can be playing that army while you maybe focus on a second one or something like that. Yeah, Phil saying lovely space clowns. Are those for Kill Team? I assume so, mate. Yeah, Ed saying yeah, they're for Kill Team. Drive myself mad trying to do that for a whole army. Yeah, exactly the conversation we're just having there as well. Andrew saying, I believe contrast yellow is the new trick to yellow armies. I've used contrast yellow on my Marauders, mate, as like a base colour, but I use it as a base to work up from, because I find that putting the contrast paint down gives you a good kind of yellow base colour to start from. But I still like Avalon Sunset. But yeah, the Lamenter's yellow was fantastic. John says, I paint 2 or 3 at a time for a relaxed approach. Eventually I end up with armies. I think the trick there, mate, is how long is eventually, because you can, like, there's no time limit. I mean, you set your own time scales. If eventually is like a year or 2 years and you're happy with that, that's fine. I think it's the people that will, like, they get a new sort of like a new game or something and they want to get it painted, or they're trying to get ready for a tournament or something like that. And I think you just gotta balance it out, really. I've actually been painting, so I've been finishing painting the Marauders for my Firefight, my 2-player starter set. There's 44 Marauders to paint, and I've batch painted almost in a batch of like 40, really. I did them in a few little batches of 5s to get a few done. Then I was doing them in like a batch of 10, and then I think the last like 30 or something, or maybe the last 25, I've almost like put all the black down, put all the brown down, and just like went through them like that. And they're almost finished. I'll probably get them finished tomorrow, and I'll get a group shot when they're all done. But I've kind of like by knowing exactly what I'm trying to achieve, setting myself a target of quality that I'm happy with, I've managed to just like smash through them and get them done really. And I'm much happier with having a fully painted kind of like 800-900 points of an army than I ever would be having really, really nicely painted 2 or 3 models and never getting the rest done. Ian's seen a mix of Mongoose Metal judges and Warlord judges. It's I know Warlord took over the Mongoose stuff. Are they different sculpts, mate? I must admit you couldn't tell from the from your photograph. Ian's saying bad squid guinea pig vehicles. Is that what they are, mate? Paul's saying loving the dread stuff. Lord Min saying Infinity. Ed saying his yellow is Avalon Sunset over the black undercoat, and then Ural yellow, Flash gets yellow, and Scale 75 primarily yellow edge. Yeah, I quite like Avalon Sunset. I think it's a nice yellow to start from, to be fair. Yeah, Paul saying that green is so smooth. I thought that as well, mate. Three different greens. That'll be why then. The Nurgle armor is contrast through an airbrush. That's why it looked cool, mate. Phil says, nice to see subliminally pushing the Never Mind the Old Lines t-shirt. I didn't push it, mate, you did. John says, I kind of regret picking a yellow over black undercoat for my AdMech army. Made it more laborious than it needs to be. To be honest, if you spray like airbrushing yellow contrast paint goes on really, really nice, actually. Martin Curl says, Zort, classic, loving these epic paint schemes, yeah. Tony saying Yoakum's works brilliant, saying the colours really pop. Johnson, he's got a special place in his heart for painting army green. Sometimes I just have to paint something olive drab. I know what you mean, mate. Necron Immortal, there you go, mate. I didn't know what it was. Phil says blue and orange work really well together on the gun. They do, mate, didn't they? They really did work well. Moose, good morning, buddy. How you doing? He says he's on the morning commute and looking forward to smashing out some Firefight at some stage. Look forward to seeing what you do, mate. I've been super impressed with your dwarf stuff, so I look forward to see what you choose to come up with, mate. Johnson, he's discovered by happy accident the other week how good orange looks with a dark blue. Surprising, really. Thought it would look awful. I've found, mate, that like quite a bright blue, like something like a Teclis blue or something like that, with an orange, instantly screams sci-fi to me. I painted some Infinity Minis in that colour. I guess kind of like the colours behind me, like that kind of like teal and orange. It instantly kind of screams sci-fi to me. Luke says, yeah, I love Basin too, but I want to make various boards for Legion. Didn't want snow bases running around on grass. I know what you mean, like, mate, when you do it like that. Jamie saying the contrast on a Death Trooper's face is good, yeah. Oh, I just jumped off my screen there. Christian just sharing the link there as well for the BlackJack Legacy merch. Thank you very much, mate. Lord Maiden saying the Moonstone Goblin and Big Troll. I don't know about the Infinity models. Yeah, the Infinity model, Mark Ward wrote down what the Infinity models were, but he'd not mentioned the other stuff. I don't know whether he meant to send that photograph or not. Suitor Pumpkin Man says, BlackJack Legacy, dude, you're a really good painter, and it makes me sad when you say you're not. I can paint to a decent standard if I really concentrate and I really take my time and I try and focus and I kind of knuckle down. But I wouldn't consider myself kind of like sort of anything special or anything like that. Like I'm certainly not. I'm not doing painting tutorials to show you how to improve your painting. My painting tutorials and stuff are really to try and tell people who are, you know, who just want to get stuff done, who are maybe looking for some shortcuts, who are just wanting to kind of maybe learn the basics, who are maybe not that interested in painting but want painted models. I'm just trying to kind of show people that there's another way. When you look for painting, like how do I paint such and such online, you tend to get very in-depth tutorials, and I understand that's why people want them. But sometimes you just want to know some shortcuts or get some inspiration, and I guess that's kind of where I can come in a little bit. Carrie, hello, mate. Good afternoon. Carrie says just pick up the Army Painter paints to give them a try. Tabletop Ramble says, hello, by the way, says, have you tried the Army Painter speed paint yet? What are your thoughts versus contrast? I haven't. I mean, to be honest, for me, like, the Army Painter speed paints are for people who don't want to pay the price for contrast paints. if that makes sense. Because for me, I have a full set. I actually have 2 full sets now, but that's a different story. I've got a full set of contrast paints, the GW Citadel contrast paints. So for me, I'm kind of happy using them. I see that I would use them in exactly the same places. I tend to use them not just as contrast paint and done. I tend to use them as a way to get a really sort of quick, sort of bright base coat down to then work up from. So I've never felt the need to kind of pick up the speed paints from Army Painter. I've always just, as I've mentioned before many times, I've stuck with Citadel stuff purely because it's always been like really accessible for me to just go locally and pick up the odd pot here and there when I need it. Other brands are not easily available to me locally, and then if I buy them online, I end up paying more for postage than I do for the paint itself. So I've always just stuck with the Citadel stuff, and I've always been happy with it. So yeah, I mean, I've got nothing against the Army Painter speed paints. Just I haven't tried them to compare them, but I don't see them sort of replacing the contrast stuff in terms of like I see that they do the same job, but they're just more difficult for me to get my hands on. Lord Maiden says, yeah, they're different sculpts and warlords seem to be plastic. Ah, right, I didn't realise that. I mean, I assumed they were metal as well. John says you have to paint in sub-assemblies, which adds to the time and effort. Yeah, I've given up painting in sub-assemblies a long time ago. You'll see from the Enforcer painting video I did, I even stuck the riders to the bikes, which I know really I shouldn't have done. I should have painted them separately, but purely for speed of getting stuff done, I never ever really paint in sub-assemblies unless it's like a really big model and things are covering stuff over. Generally, if it's a small enough model, if I can't get my brush to it, my eye's not really going to see it really. Camo saying contrast over silver base is interesting. Yeah, I used that when I painted. I can see it from here. My Hulkbuster model for Marvel Crisis Protocol, I did that. I think I sprayed it. Did I spray it gold or did I spray it silver? And then did with an airbrush put red contrast paint through over the top of it. Yeah, Superpunk and Mansion, be kind. Don't forget to drop a like. Randall Bird, good evening. Says models on the table is better than models on the painting bench. And I think I'm with you on that one, mate, as well. Yes. So we're also tonight. Let's have a look how we're doing for time. We're doing all right. 10 o'clock. What I also wanted to talk about was flyers in Firefight. So as you could see from the thumbnail today, so Dead Zone. Excuse me. That's what you get for drinking there, Coke Zero. Dead Zone doesn't have any real kind of like big vehicles in the game. So Warpath, which is the biggest scale Mantic's kind of army scale game, had all of these vehicles available, and I must admit I'd never really looked at them. Warpath was a skill that was beyond what I wanted to play. I didn't really know anything about the rules, and so I never really looked at the models outside of Dead Zone. Firefight come along, brought in a lot of those models into the game, and it's at a scale that I'm kind of happy to expand to. And so I sort of started to look at some of those models and things that I'd not really seen before, and this is where a lot of the vehicles came in that I wasn't familiar with. And the ones that's kind of like stood out to me, and the kind of things that I would almost suggest buying after you've bought the if you've bought a 2-player starter set and you're wanting something kind of cool or a bit of a centerpiece model to kind of go with your armies, then I think the flyers are kind of are a couple of things I would certainly recommend. I say a couple of things as in one for the Marauders and one or two for the Enforcers as well. So I just kind of wanted to quickly kind of touch on flyers. Why would you take flyers in the game? Does every faction have flyers? And that type of stuff. So really, there's 1, 2, 3. There's 4 of the factions that have a flying vehicle, if you like. So when I say flyers, what I mean is a flying vehicle. And they have slightly different rules, and I'll touch on that in a second. But essentially, there's like I say, there's 4 of the factions. There's the Enforcers, there's the GCPS, there's the Marauders, and there's Plague. Now, what some people have complain's not the right word, but have kind of commented on is the fact that there's actually only really 2 sort of flying vehicles in the game. Luke's just saying, I like the Firefight flyers, but they all look kind of the same, which is an odd choice. So there's a reason why they all kind of look the same. One is obviously when Mantic were kind of like sort of starting these out, it's expensive to get plastic molds because they are all plastic. It's expensive to get plastic molds. And so they've obviously kind of adapted the original kits to suit. However, there's a law reason why they're kind of similar as well. So if we start with, if we start, let's go here. If we start with this one, the Enforcers have a couple of options. They actually have 3 options technically, but there's a couple of options here. So they have what is called the Enforcer Accuser Interceptor. And this is what it is. It costs £32.50 at retail price as well, which I think for a vehicle of this size is a bargain actually. But this is basically their advanced air support. So this is the Accuser Interceptor, and it can also be with the parts that come with it. It can either be built as an Accuser Interceptor or a Persecutor bomber. The Accuser Interceptor is a vehicle which carries people as well. It's also like a transport vehicle, and the Persecutor bomber is obviously like a kind of like a bomb and runner type thing. So this is we'll have a quick look at the gallery. This is what it looks like. So yeah, they're 2 different models with 2 different stat lines, but you can build it as either way. And actually, the quality of these is really good. I've got one of these for my Enforcers now, and I've also got a model for my Marauders, and we'll be coming onto them in the future and stuff like that. But yeah, they're really nice plastic models. They've these pieces on the bottom can actually be detached as well, I believe, and that's, you can see it there as well as a bit more of a render, so you can see how they look. So the Accuser Interceptor can also be kitted with some slightly different parts to make it into an arbiter. You can see basically there's some different kind of parts on the bottom and stuff, I think it is, and I think the guns might be slightly different as well. And this is like an upgrade, so if you take the Interceptor, I think for 20 points more you can upgrade it to an arbiter, and it has like things like armor piercing and stuff like that as well. So those are kind of the options that the Enforcers have. If we now go back to, we'll go to GCPS, and the GCPS have this the TAD 65 Hornet dropship, and again this is a transport vehicle, and can carry some troops into battle as well. And we'll come on to movement and that kind of stuff in a bit. And again, these as well, these kind of sort of almost like rotor blades type things can pivot inside as well, so then you can glue them if you want. But if you build it as recommended, you can kind of pivot them around a little bit. And you can see here as well, I think it's this kind of like cargo thing can basically come off the bottom as well there. Yeah, you can see it without there as well, so it's quite nice. And as Luke said before, they kind of look similar, but they are similar as in the fact is that they're exactly the same kind of model. So GCPS basically have this TAD Hornet dropship, and the Marauders also use the exact same TAD Hornet dropship. And the reason for that from a lore perspective is because the Marauders used to be part of the GCPS army. Basically the Marauders were fighting for the GCPS. They were fighting alongside them. There's something in the lore called the Mandrake Rebellion, where essentially the Marauders kind of went, right, we've had enough of this kind of thing. We're going to do our own thing. So a lot of the tech that they have and a lot of equipment that they have is stuff that they've taken from the GCPS, which is the reason why the Marauders use the exact same dropships, is because that's what they were flying, that's what they were fighting, that's what they were using. So you can buy that and basically use it in the Marauder army as well. So as we mentioned before as well, that the Plague also have a dropship, and unsurprisingly they also have a Hornet dropship, but it's kind of, there is some upgrades to this one, as you can see here, which give it some kind of sinister Plague aspects to it. Things like a body kind of strapped to the front of it and stuff like that as well. Almost think about like the way orcs would kind of, or the way Chaos Marines would kind of take sort of Space Marine vehicles and upgrade them and stuff. And again, the reason for this is because the plague are essentially kind of GCPS kind of troopers who've been infected with this plague. So as you can imagine, they have the same kind of vehicles. So for all they kind of look similar because they come from the same kit, there's a reason within the lore in the background that they have all of these similar kind of things. So when it comes to rules-wise for vehicles, the flying vehicles have the fly keyword, and interestingly, they must perform. They've got their two actions, the two short actions or their one long action. They have to perform an advance or a sprint action during each activation, so they have to move. Think of them as the fact is that they're up in the air. They're not just kind of hovering around in one spot. They're constantly moving and flying around the battlefield. So to represent this, you have to move them every turn. And so, for example, if we look at the Accuser Interceptor for the Enforcers, it has a move of 12/18, so it can move up to 12 inches as a normal move. However, if you don't want to move 12 inches, you still have to move a minimum of 6 to simulate that kind of thing, that it's still flying around. And if you can't move it at least 6 inches, basically it's classed as destroyed and removed from the game. And one of the benefits of taking a flying model is that shoot actions against your flyer will suffer an additional -1 to hit. So if an enemy is trying to shoot you and they don't have the anti-aircraft keyword, they're automatically -1 to shoot you, which is very helpful. This kind of sort of shows the fact that you're always kind of constantly on the move. And vehicles with a fly keyword also don't block line of sight to each other either, which don't block line of sight when people are kind of shooting through. So just because the base is on the ground, that's just a representation about where the flyer is. Again, it's constantly moving, the height will be going up and down, so they don't block line of sight. Let me have a little look at my notes as well, because I wrote some notes here. What else have we got? So you'll be thinking, like, well, it's unfair. Some armies don't have flying transports. Like, why should I take some? Why? Like, what's the upsides? What's the downsides? One of the downsides as well is that they can't claim objectives. So I think it was about 100 points for an Enforcer one. Let me have a quick look. Yeah, there are 100 points for the Interceptor. There are an extra 20 points if you want to do the upgrade. They can't claim objectives, and they can't have their base over the top of an objective to stop other people kind of scoring them either. So it's a lot of points to put into a model that then can't kind of claim an objective. And for example, this Accuser Interceptor basically can be transported. You can see capacity 5. It means it can take up to 5 models of height 2. You can deploy them onto the battlefield, so you can fly around and drop them off kind of thing. If your models have anti-grav, it means they can kind of drop down from the ship up in the air. They can just kind of disembark normally. But if your models don't have anti-grav, you have to do it as a long action to disembark. So it's almost as if the ships had to drop down, drop them out, and kind of come back up again, which makes it more difficult rather than just jumping out with anti-grav packs on. Therefore, they basically have to use it as a long action. So there's some negatives to it as well. The other side as well is basically if a flying vehicle is destroyed in the air, so if it gets hit by ground fire and the people it is transporting inside don't have anti-grav, they are destroyed with the vehicle as well. So not unlike a vehicle on the ground, if you've got a vehicle like a transport vehicle on the ground and it gets destroyed, essentially what happens is the people jump out of it before it blows up, and they are deployed on the battlefield where the vehicle was. If you get hit in a flying vehicle and you don't have anti-grav packs to jump out of it, you're blown up with the vehicle as well. And you also measure from the flyer's base as well. So it doesn't matter how big the physical flyer is, you always still measure from the base itself. So there's some pros and cons to taking flyers in Firefight, and I think what Mantic have managed to do is they've managed to balance it out, because these kind of things can be a little bit overpowered at times in some games where you've got this big flyer sort of flying around. I mean that Interceptor, basically as an example, has a range of 24. It rolls 8 dice with its heavy burst lasers. It's shooting on a 4+. It's got an armor of 6+. It's got 5 health points, so it takes quite a bit to take it down. So sometimes they can be a little bit overpowered. But I think Manic have done a pretty good job when it comes to vehicles in this game. There's no kind of sort of sides or flanks or rear kind of fire or anything like that. It can see 360. If you can see it, you can hit it kind of thing. And there's some negatives to taking it as well. There's some risks in taking flying vehicles, as well as the fact you can't use them to get objectives or anything like that either. So personally, for me, I think they're a nice addition. If you've got a 2-player starter set, they're a nice addition to the 2-player starter set. I think they look great if you've got an army and you want a nice centerpiece thing, just to kind of pull it all together. Armies look nice when they've got like that big vehicle or that big model or something like that just kind of sort of pulls it all together visually. So yeah, I think flyers is something we'll have to see over time how they kind of perform in the game, whether they become a bit overpowered, whether they're underpowered, whether they're undercosted, overcosted, all that kind of stuff. But certainly from a visual aspect, from a lore aspect, and from the fact that they look cool, yeah, I recommend you kind of you definitely think about picking up some flyers. So let's have a little look at the chat, see what folks are chatting about. Let's have a little look. Randall says the bomber is so... Kodo says it's a... Oh, yeah, John says, did you mention Astevians? Thought theirs is slightly different. Yeah, as Kodo says there, it's a skimmer, not a flyer. So basically, it doesn't have the fly keyword, and therefore it's treated as kind of like a hover type thing, really. Randall says, I think the chroma is anti-grav. The chroma... It still doesn't have the fly keyword, mate. I double checked tonight. Luke saying, did they make the law to fit the limitations of designs? It's fine that it would naturally just be nice to have more variation. No, I don't think they did, mate. I don't think that was the case, really. I think it was. I mean, they might have done, but that's kind of there's a low reason, as well as the fact that there'll have been some cost limitations when the game was new as well. I think over time, if it's successful and it's popular, we'll probably start to see other vehicles appear down the line. I would like to see kind of all the different factions having flies and stuff. Like, for example, there's no flying stuff in the Forge Fathers. Randall says the bomber is so nasty. I play Forge Fathers and I'm a little jealous of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Blizzard's saying that the Accuser and the Arbiter magnetizes nicely. Yeah, somebody did say, can you magnetize it? I think it was Mark Zielinski. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Yes, you can magnetize some stuff, I think. Lord Baden said, I thought it was because the money stopped and the Marauders didn't get paid. It's kind of... It's not just... It wasn't just about the money, I don't think. I think there's kind of like... There's other reason that they basically realised they were being used kind of thing as well. But yes, yeah, I kind of shortcutted it when I said there was a rebellion kind of thing, and basically they went, yeah, not anymore. But yeah, they obviously took all of the equipment from the GCPS. Randall says that love that little Firefly nod strapped to the front of the Plague version. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, mate. Like a bit like the Reavers in Firefly. Yeah, exactly. Camo says, what's the next challenge? Did I miss it? No, you didn't miss it, mate. I'll announce it after the next round of the challenge pictures, mate. George says, I don't like the way the Plague Hornet has the extra bits. Just don't think it fits with the lore. Did mine with the battle damage alternative bits, but left it off. Means it can be GCPS. Yeah, I guess it's a personal taste, mate. I quite like it, but I get that not everybody would like it. Blair Smith, good evening. How are you doing? Says, knew I'd seen buddies on front ships somewhere. Mark says, I like the flexibility of the Hornet being able to be in 3 different armies. Yeah, that's the other side of it as well, is that basically if you picking it up, you could potentially use it within... You can use it in your GCPS. You can use it in your Plague, because there's nothing saying that it has to be kind of plagueified. You know, the Plague could have got a new one, for example, like taking it from the GCPS, and you can also use it in your Marauders as well. So by having that one model, it does give you some flexibility. John says, with flyers having to move, if you pin them, they have to do the advance move and can't shoot. I marked Darren's with pinning fire when we fought. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a few different ways you can pin it, if I remember right. You have to have anti-aircraft weapons to be able to pin it down, I think. There's another couple of ways you pin it as well, and I can't remember what it is now. But yeah, I don't they're not easy to pin. But yeah, but you can pin them down. John says, I'm pleased not all factions have flyers. I think each faction should have units that make them distinct. In 40k, so many Space Marine units have the same units and lose all character. Yeah, it's nice to have that difference. I just think, like, purely from an aspect of the speed that flyers can move. I mean, like, if they're moving if they're moving 12 inches a turn as a minimum, they have to move 6, as I said before. But if they're moving 12 inches a turn, that's quite sort of fast across the battlefield. So if you're up against an army that's a bit slower than that, and they don't have access to anything of that kind of speed, it could potentially make it a little bit one-sided in terms of kind of getting across the objectives and things. So all I'm thinking is, as long as the other armies have an equal way to move around quickly to counteract that, it doesn't have to be a flyer, as long as it's kind of something. That's what I'm kind of getting at, really. Randall says, if nothing else, I think Mantic's done a really good job of counterplayer, if not outright balance. Hitting a flyer with anti-aircraft is a bad day. Basically, it's only moving that turn. Yeah, exactly, mate. I guess time will tell about balance. It's a new game. The more people come to play it, the more games we get under our belts. There was a lot of play testing, but I guess even that is a limited kind of thing. But I guess over time we'll see that, and things will get tweaked in the future as well. But to be honest, as long as it's fun, the balance, I'm less worried about the balance as long as the game's fun itself. Michael Murphy says, thank you for your box to table how to paint Marauders. I ended up copying the paint scheme very closely. Mostly I hate painting, or I am colour stupid. Thank you very much, mate, for your kind words. Thanks for joining the stream. I was just saying earlier on, I'm almost finished painting all of my Marauders now. I did intend to paint them all for the painting video, but 44 models, I'm not the fastest, even with fast colour schemes, is still kind of doing some. But I have managed to paint basically the entire Marauder force, except I'm probably about an hour away from finishing them. I've managed to paint them all in, what would I say? I'm trying to think hours wise, because it's taken me about a week, but it's been like a few hours here and a couple of hours there kind of thing. And like when the little one goes to bed, I've maybe had like a 3 or 4 hour kind of session. But yeah, I'd have to think about it, but it hasn't taken me long at all. But yeah, that's exactly what I mean about kind of, I said before, about sometimes you just want to get stuff done. So yeah, I'm glad you found it useful, Michael. Blair says, the law you've mentioned as to why they have the same vehicles makes sense to me. Yeah, I get, it's kind of, they all come from originally were part of the same army, if you like. And Peter says, Marauders using GCPS material has been the law since version 1 Dead Zone. Yeah. Koros says, the Hornet dropship is the Rhino of the Warpath universe. Everyone has one and likes using it. Yeah, I think so. Christian sharing the link there as well for Amazon affiliate link as well. If you're shopping on Amazon and you shop through my affiliate link, I get a small commission. So yeah, it helps to support the channel without costing you a penny. Andre McInnes, good evening, Andre. He says, love the new rules, but unfortunately I'll need to wait for the Nameless or the Zor to get armies before I pull the trigger. I think as Mantic have mentioned many times, mate, it's something that they want to expand on this with other armies in the future. They've started with the ones whose core troops have plastic sprues, because that's the kind of like if everybody's got like sort of resin sort of core troops, it gets very expensive very quickly. So they've started there, but I've got no doubt in the future, if this is successful, they'll kind of expand out and bring in other armies and kind of do those core troop sort of plastic sprues. John says, anti-aircraft or anti-tank gives pins. I had enough to stop him. I don't think anti-tank pins, mate. I think anti-tank only pins ground vehicles. Anti-aircraft, I think, does flyers, unless I've missed that. Randall says, I hope Firefight's successful enough to have balance problems. Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. I know what you mean. Yeah, Randall's saying, yeah, full Nameless army, and VJ as well saying the same thing. Keen for more Nameless. I think it's Nameless is a great one to go with. It's very much Mantic's own IP. And like I said, I'm sure at some point, if this is popular enough, that's exactly where they start to kind of expand out from. Things like sort of like the Mercs kind of sort of things are always a bit of a mishmash of models. That's the whole point of that kind of mercenary faction. So whether you get lots of like core troops for that kind of thing, which then all start looking the same, I'm not sure if that's necessarily the way, but things like Nameless and that, I can see it. Yeah, and VGC loves the Gribblies. loves the Gribblies. There's a turn of phrase. So yeah, so flyers. I think they look cool. I think they're definitely the kind. Even if you take away the lore, you take away the background, you take away the rules and all that kind of stuff. I think they just kind of look cool with your army, really. So something to check out. And certainly from a price point of view, like 30 quid or something like that is a bargain, really, in the grand scheme of things, versus like sort of big flying models for some other games. I just think for a big centerpiece, 30 quid's not a bad little punt, and especially if you shop online, you start getting 20% off that. You suddenly start getting them down to like £24 and things like that. It's not too bad at all. Anyway, let's get back to the painting challenge. Let me just close down a couple of things here, and we'll come into the last ones. So let's go back here. So we start with Mr. Paul Taylor, who's here. I think he's still in the chat. And these are his Infinity Pano models. Let me just have a little drink here. So I think, just glancing at these, I think these are the models from Code 1. Because I've painted the same ones. Love the snow bases, mate. Really, really set them off. Nice. I mean, like I say, I've painted these myself as well, so I know how kind of small some of these bits are. Lovely sort of neat lines down the centre there, mate, as well. Awesome. I love these greens on the sword as well, almost lightsaber-esque. Nice, mate. Highlighting on the white. Again, love the snow finish and the kind of the bluey ice finish to the bottoms as well. Really, really nice finish, mate. Yeah, even doing that little kind of the red stuff across the helmet or the face mask thing isn't the easiest. So yeah, congrats, mate, on doing them, and thank you for entering as well. Awesome to see some different mix of models. That's what I always like about these challenges. It's nice to see different models in there. Here we've got some 40k stuff. I haven't wrote down what they are. Well, who did I say who it was? It is Pete Mannion. There we go. So Pete's got some, it looks like some Chaos Marine bikers. Love the kind of pinky red colour choice. I'm assuming it's more red. It might be just the actual the camera that's doing that. But yeah, I think it's definitely more red on those ones. Nice with the background as well. But I'm trying to remember. Are these Chaos? Yeah, you can see 40k is not my thing. Is it corn ones? Maybe it must be. Yeah, nice. Love the finish on them. Again, these are another set of models. Loads of extra kind of trims and bits and pieces to paint. But yeah, look cool, mate. Nice on those bikes as well. And yeah, the background definitely sets them off as well. Nice and neat as well. It's right funny on doing those kind of stuff. The green eyes really set it off as well. There's little things where you're just like spending a little bit more time on just kind of on doing this, the details around here. Whoops, really draws your eye into it as well, and it allows you to cut corners elsewhere. I'm not saying he has, but it does allow you to do that. Nice work, mate. Nice work. Peter Kuhlman. So he's got Adrian Nikolovsky. Rebel Commander, which is his Dead Zone leader model. That's what it is. Well, let's start with the one at the front anyway, first of all, you can see it. I'm not familiar with this model, actually, but yeah, nice. So yeah, nice. I love the blue to it. The kind of the effect of it. I don't know if it's a contrast or wash or whatever it is, but the effect of it kind of giving some kind of mottled effect as well to the skin looks really nice. Nice on the base. I love a little bit of texture on that as well. And yeah, nice with it. Is that like a cape around the shoulders? Oh, like yeah, looks really cool as well, mate. Proper like fishtail on her as well. Nice, mate. I like it. So this is your Dead Zone leader model for a Rebel Commander. There you go. Nice. Phil Campbell, he's got Space Marine Scout Fire Team for Kill Team. There we go. So he's put these down as individual models. These look really nice. I'm not really sure what particular faction it is or anything like that, but yeah, nice and neat. This kind of black lining around here used to be a thing I saw a long time ago. There was a guy, and I forget his name, used to paint a lot of Guild Ball teams, and he used to really kind of sort of exaggerate that kind of black lining, and it was a style that I only ever really saw him do. Jonathan Taylor York, I think it was. And I used to love the way he painted stuff. And I'm never that neat. I love how it looks with that kind of black lining, but I'm never neat enough to do it, and I think it looks really good. Bases are fantastic made. Colour choices really, really work. The scar across the face as well really does look nice. At first glance, I thought it was meant to be like a hair coming down or like a mould like line thing, but no, it's like a scar on the face. Love what you've done with these kind of buttons and stuff on here. This is what I mean about, like, you know, like for a kill team or something like that, you can take your time and you can really make them stand out. But if you were going to do like a full army of like 100 models, 200 models, to do to this level would take you quite some time. Love the lens on there, mate, as well. Really, really nice work. That green's lovely. Love the shading to it. The fact that it looks like kind of hammered and battered and stuff like that as well. Beautiful work, mate. That's really nice too with the mask over there. Got a very Necromunda vibe to it. Looks cool. Sniper model as well. Again, just the painting on these lenses on the sniper rifle. Beautiful work, mate. And again on here, just the highlighting and the kind of the detailing around here. It's difficult to kind of stress just how small these bits are. When you see the models like this, you go, oh yeah, he's done a good job, yeah. But I think it's until you've physically held one in your hand, people don't realise, just like, you know, like people who are not painters, people who don't like miniature gaming, don't realise just, you know, how small some of this stuff is. Beautiful work, mate. Even the one with the... Are these Goliath heads, maybe, some of them from Necromunda? Maybe kid bashed a bit. Beautiful work, though. Really love it. Love the bases as well. Really, really like those. Beautiful work, mate. Love them. Little bit of camo as well on the cloak. Is there a group shot of them all together as well? There they are. That's just beautiful work. I absolutely love that. Really, really nice. I'd love to know how long something like that takes. I don't have the patience nor the skill to paint at that level, but I do. I can appreciate it when I see it. Fantastic work, mate. Absolutely love that, Phil. Preston Kev. I'm not sure if it was Kev Preston or Preston Kev. It's in his email. He said, this is heavy support for his scratch-built 40k Praetorian Guard. Alien Merc made from a Monsters Inc. toy. Heavy Mech Walker made from another toy. Ogren made from a HeroClix supervillain. Scratch-built tank inspired by French World War II design. If you'd like to see my Praetorian Guard, I've included some photos. Uses a 40k as framework for his own sci-fi war games. I like their models, some of their lore, none of their rules and none of their prices. So I scratch build what I can't afford. Hope you like the models, and can you spot my homage to the Aliens movie? Last month's Warlord on a monstrous steed entry was a leader for my evil fantasy army I'm building for a solo campaign. Let's have a look on this. It's amazing to see. I do quite appreciate when I see people like saying, "Oh, I've done this from toys or something like that," and then you can't really see what the toy was or where it's come from. I can appreciate that. So yeah, no idea what they are from that respect, but yeah, nice to see them. I'm looking for the Aliens reference now as well. Maybe I'm not a big enough Aliens fan to work it out. Oh, there's the Praetorian Guard there. You can see some of the stuff there as well. Really, really nice stuff, mate. Nicely done. I'm assuming it must be something to do with this Walker thing here or something like that. This one, for this here Toy Story model or something like that. Nice work. I do like to see people like I don't necessarily always agree that like everything has to be affordable to everybody in that respect. You know what I mean? Like that's not the way life is. But it shouldn't mean that people like things aren't accessible to everybody. And I think this shows that things can be accessible. If you can get your hands on something that'll work just as well, then I think that's great work. Nicely done, mate. I really, really like seeing those. Well done there, Kev. Mr. Bobby Zunk. He's been doing some Forge Fathers. I like what you've been doing here. I like the way that the kind of the base is matching with the army. Nice different colour choices as well. Nice work. Nice to see them all taking shape as well, coming out together. The extra work here as well on this weapon. Cool to see that. Some nice mix of kind of purples and like coppery colours as well. Nice, man. I mean, some of these Forge Father models have been around for quite some time now, and they still kind of stand up. Some of them are not the greatest of sculpts, not these particular ones, but some in the range, like some of the older ones. But I still think, like, as a concept, I think they still stand up to the test. Nice work, mate. Love those, Rob. We've got Ryan Catney. And Ryan's got some stuff for Gates of Antares here. Is it Algarin? I'm not familiar with Gates of Antares. I think that's the name of a faction or something like that. And he's been painting those. And I think he's quite sort of keen on Gates of Antares is getting its new release soon as well. But yeah, nice work, mate. Again, I think every sci-fi game seems to have that kind of armoured super soldier faction, of which this appears to be the one for Gates of Antares. But look like nice models. I thought it would certainly fit for like Enforcer type stuff and that as well, or Space Marines if you're playing 40k. But yeah, nice work, mate. Love the kind of setting as well, and the way the basin fits in with the setting. Really, really nice work, buddy. It was just the one picture there. Thank you very much for entering that. We've got San Sanich, and he's been doing as well some Forge Fathers. Again, this is kind of what I meant about the basin as well, about how you can kind of keep it simple across an army, but it's effective. Really nice work here, mate. I can't see if that's kind of... Is that kind of... It might be contrast. It looks maybe contrasty and dry brush or something like that. But it looks really, really effective, regardless of what it is. Love how it's come out, mate. Nice work. Love just the little spot as well, the red eyes as well. Just really gives it a little something to pop it out. Beautiful, mate. Nice work. Thank you very much. Whoops. We've got Scott Webster, and he's been doing some Marauders, and we'll see what else he's got because he put a few photos in. So this is Marauders. I think he said from his email this is the first time he's ever tried any kind of camouflage and stuff like that. So I was happy with how it come out. Yeah, it looks really good, mate. Love the camouflage. Love the background as well. Just gives it a little bit of setting there as well. Yeah, nice, man. Definitely. I'm trying to think if that's... I'm trying to think if it's one of the newer Marauders or one of the older ones. I can't work out. From the pose, I think it's one of the older ones. Because I don't think any of the Marauders I've been painting have got that like 1 foot off the ground pose. So I assume it's one of the older ones. And he's got some Forge Fathers as well. Forge Fathers seem popular at the moment. Nice to see with the different coloured weapons there as well. The blue and the silver there really pops. Love the extra work here on that weapon. And this is one of the... Oh, I forget what he's called now. He's one of the artificers. But I forget... Is he like... He's not like an artificer captain or something like that. I forget what he's called. I painted the same model as well, so I still can't remember the names. But yeah, I love the colour choice. When I was painting them as well, I thought that was like a Mohican on them at first, until you actually get in close and start painting it, and you see it's some kind of like sort of almost like sort of cybernetic kind of sort of thing on his head. So I like the fact you've picked it out blue, mate, just to kind of differentiate it. Looks cool. You see it there from a slightly different angle. The one thing I hated about this model, apart from gluing it together, because I think each of these 4 pieces kind of come in a couple of parts, I think. The biggest thing I didn't like about this model is the fact that those feet up to about... You can see my mouse here, yeah, can you? So those feet here, up to about that kind of like sort of ankle part there, if you like, are a resin piece of the base. So the feet are actually moulded as part of the base. And I actually cut them out. I cut those feet out. I stuck it all together. I stuck it together. And then to keep it together, and then I cut them out with like a razor saw and some clippers and stuff like that. And then actually sliced through the base as well to flatten them off. I'll show you mine later on, because I wanted to put them on a different kind of base, because that resin base that came wasn't very round, if you like. So whilst I absolutely love the model itself, the decision to put those feet as part of the base I thought was stupid. But that doesn't mean you haven't done a good job of painting them, mate. I really do like it. Thanks, Scott. They look awesome. Stephen Krebs, he's got a Reaper Bones ape here as well. Nicely done. I'm not that familiar with Reaper Bones stuff. I think they basically just like make miniatures, don't they, which you for like D&D and that kind of stuff, or using in your other games. But yeah, nice sculpt, mate. Lovely work on it as well. Love these kind of veins across the stomach and the. I'm not sure what that is on his head. Is that like a bandana type thing or something like that? Looks good though, mate. Nice work. Nice work on the skin as well with the shading and stuff. Picking out the nails. Certainly wouldn't want to meet him on a night out in Newcastle, that's for sure. Thank you very much for entering, mate. Nice work. Thomas Penn. He's got... Now, this says Bob Naismith Hangar Crew plus drone. And these are his different images of these. So I don't know what this is, what game it is or anything like that. I'm not that familiar with it. So he's got quite a few photos of it. So we'll go through them. Nice colour choice with the blue with a kind of silver dry brush as well. Just kind of helps them to pop there a little bit. Looks metallic-y. Very nice. I don't know if the base is just to kind of hold it like while painting or whatever, or if it's for a particular game. I'm not familiar with it, but looks cool. Couple of... Oh, this is the Hangar Crew plus the drone. So these are the Hangar Crew. The other one was the drone as well. Nicely done. Looks like a lot of contrast paint used there as well. Nice kind of... you can kind of like the green looks a little bit kind of not necessarily unnatural, but it's quite sort of pigmented. It's quite green, if you like. But I think it works great when you're doing it on things like crates and stuff like that. I think sometimes if you use it like on orc skin, for example, it looks a little bit too bright at times. So you almost have to like sort of knock it back with a dull coat or something like that. But it looks great on this kind of stuff. Yeah, very. Is that a core space matte? Maybe that one. I'm not familiar with these if they're from a particular model, from a particular game rather. Oh, this one looks like he's lost a leg to the warp there or something like that. Headphones. That's some kind of headphones on there as well. Looking good. Some female models. Nice work. I like the kind of the orangey kind of rust colour as well. Like I said before about that kind of workers uniform type thing. Looking good, man. And then this is for whatever game it is. I must admit, it looks kind of like nice when you see it all laid out like this and all the bits and pieces for it. Like I see no idea what the game is, but yeah, nice, man. I wonder what this thing is down here. It's a nice mix of models here. I've not really not seen those before. Very nice, and I think I vaguely recognise these two pieces here from 40k stuff. So thank you very much, Thomas. Thank you very much for putting them in. And then last of all for this, we've got Mr. Howell. So he's got his Space Goblin Klaxon. Love that, mate. He's just got such a proper cheeky grin on his face. I love it. Love the eyes on it as well. Really sets it off. This blue on the hose or the pipe or whatever that is. Really does bring it together. And then he's also got this shot of it as well in like some kind of diorama stuff he's been building, which basically in a spaceship type thing. The little touches, like the kind of bits of wire lying around and things, and the like a little cup in the background. Those little touches really set it off. Love the weathering around this door as well, mate. Really, really does look nice, and the weathering on this block kind of storage cube, whatever it is, looks really nice, mate. I'm just gonna go back to that. To the little goblin thing. Awesome, mate. Love that. Love that work. Thank you very much, Mr. Howell. And then, I guess last of all, I'll show them Costa here. So I've obviously been painting a bit more than this month. I was trying to get my 2-player starter set completely finished for tonight. But with having a week on holiday and with my wife's being away this weekend on a girls' weekend, so I've been looking after the little one. I just really didn't get any hobby time to get finished this week. So unfortunately, I didn't make the deadline with finishing both armies. But obviously, you'll have seen my Enforcer stuff that I did. This is for the painting video. I also did the Marauder stuff as well, which I'll show in a bit. But so yeah, I've got the rest of this army left to paint, but this won't take too long with the method I showed on the video with basically a green spray can and then dry brushing and picking out bits of red. It does not take too long at all with these ones. But I'm happy with the quality of the finish for this. Of just a relatively quick and straightforward paint scheme, and definitely feel like less is more. What I did find is that I didn't put the wings. There's like little wings that come off the side of these jet bikes, and first of all, I accidentally kind of I didn't glue them on because I don't think in the instructions, I don't think it shows them being glued on, or maybe I just missed it. And then actually once I'd done it, I thought, actually I'm just going to leave them off. I actually prefer it better without those little wings on the side, so I've just left them off my models. But yeah, I'm kind of happy with how these turned out. Relatively straightforward, pretty quick. So that was those. And then I did my my Artificer Forge Fathers as well. So as I said, this particular model here, I cut the feet off, and then this is a resin base that I 3D printed and kind of made it look a little bit icy and kind of scattered with a little bit of snow and stuff like that. And I thought if I'm cutting the base off a little bit, I can afford to sort of, like, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect where I cut the feet out. But yeah, I wanted to put them onto these kind of snow bases. So yeah, it was a bit of an interesting time cutting them out. But yeah, the idea with these was, again, it was a relatively quick, straightforward sort of, I think I airbrushed like a darker blue, like a dark Space Wolf fang, it might have been, dry brushed over the top of it, with a, was it, oh, I forget what colour it was, but like a lighter grey type thing. And then went with the yellows and stuff as a bit of a spot colour just to pick them out. And the idea was just to kind of, yeah, just a kind of relatively simple but effective colour scheme. So that was those bad boys. And then I think, yeah, those are that's the only picture I've got of the Marauders that I'm busy painting at the moment. Although I must admit the colour balance doesn't look great on there, because that's definitely more green versus the yellow. I think it's just on this screen at the minute. But yeah, so I'm painting my Marauders with that kind of that yellow colour as well. And again, it's just about sort of keeping it relatively simple, keeping it quick, and getting them on the table. So yeah, that's my stuff. So let's have a little look back in the chat now and see how we're doing time-wise as well. I think we're not doing bad at all. Time kind of coming up to 1:45. It's perfect timing. So where are we up to here? Yeah, George is saying have enough multiple Star Saga, Dead Zone, Nameless to go when they are. Yeah. Paul says, yeah, it's the Colstrom box set. That's the one, mate, for Code 1. Super Pumpkin Man says white is so much of a pain to paint. Yeah, you're not wrong, mate. Had to go to white a few times to get it. Randall says, are those bikes custom? I'm not sure, mate. Peter says the blue on my model is just the blue, then washed with blue and highlighted back up. It was a bit of a hard one as the model's quite small. No, it looks really effective though, mate. Look great. Paul says the standard you all put out every month just blows me away. It's lush to kind of just to see what different things people are painting, mate. Phil says they're all Goliath heads. Some from the Forge World set. The original heads are a bit dated. Ah, that's right, mate. I thought I recognised them about halfway through. Lord Mains, is it the kid with the mech? Ed says, love Praetorians. Best guard GW ever did. I use mine for my vet guard kill team. And yeah, go Space Wolves. Peter says, the alien reference, is it the unmanned autocannon team? Like a sentry gun from the second movie. It's been a long time since I've seen it, mate. I wouldn't have got that reference. Randall saying the bases are fantastic. Super Pumpkin Man saying the helmets remind me of a cross between the Predator and a Mandalorian. Gimmon says, is this a Mantic game? I'm new to wargaming. I think it depends. It depends what it was, mate. I'm not sure. Hello, Gimmers, by the way. I don't know which pictures we're looking at now. Peter says it's the older Restic Marauder. I have the same. I thought it was the older one, mate. Like I say, the ones in the new Firefight box, the new hard plastic ones, none of them have that like running pose. Regis says, Artificer Doc Ock, that's the one. Building him was a pain in the ass. You're not wrong, mate. Yeah, it was a course space. Matt. Johnny Grogan, good evening, buddy. How you doing? Rob saying, love the Goblin. Joachim saying, nice work with the challenge, everyone. Love to see what you all have accomplished. Yes. And Wayne saying, great work, everyone. And John saying, right, dinner's on the go. Have to re-watch the stream tonight. So, you all, I would assume you all want to know what the next challenge is for next month. So, the next challenge. So, we're into May now. The May challenge starts today. You have until Sunday the 29th of May. So you have 4 weeks to complete this challenge. So I need you to email me your finished photographs by 11:59 p.m. on Sunday the 29th of May. And on the Monday afterwards, the 30th of May, we'll do another live stream like this where we show them all off. And to tie in with what we've been talking about tonight with the flyers in Firefight, the title of this month's challenge is "Come Fly with Me," and it's a lot wider than you might think. So I want you to paint something that flies. Now it can be a flyer. Like I'm probably going to be painting one of my flyers for Firefight. It can be something that has wings. So it might be kind of like a fantasy model, like, you know, whether it be kind of like a Basilean type thing with wings. It might be some kind of elf model with wings. It might be something from a fantasy genre type thing. It might be something that has like a jump pack or a grav pack or some kind of boosters or something like that, or rocket powered type stuff. It might be something that has like magical elements to it that makes it fly. If you can say something about if you can convince me why your model flies, then that'll do for me. It can be a vehicle. It doesn't have to be a vehicle. It can be a jet bike. It can be something that hovers. It can be, like, you know, anything like that. So no matter what it is, as long as you can tell me the reason why it flies, if it's not obvious, then it's included in the challenge this month. So yes, that's what it is. So come fly with me, May, is the challenge this month. So yeah, have a think about it. Think outside the box. Don't kind of limit yourself. It can be a flying vehicle, but it can quite as easily be something quite obscure as far as models go. But yeah, Peter saying there, I have some World War II aeroplanes, a Raven Wing land speeder, probably a dragon as well. There you go, dragons, anything like that. So yeah, anything you can kind of think of, if it fits in with that theme, that's what it is. Zingbo says, I'm all out of hoverboard and dwarfs. To be honest, mate, it was so good, I might let you can put it in again the next month. Randall saying, stick wings on a stern hammer. I tell you what, mate, if you could paint wings on it. If you could paint wings on the side of it, mate, I'll give you that one. John says, I heard something about tiny fiddly bits and thought about my 1/700 scale ship models. Those are fiddly as anything. Super Pumpkin Man says, it's nice to know I'm not the only person who uses PITA to stand for pain in the arse. It was my nickname, baby sister, when I was 13. Lord Main saying, Lady Diana, it is then. James says, I will endeavour to submit something this month. On holiday till the end of the month, so we'll have to submit early. Already got an idea, though. If you've got an idea, mate, you're halfway there. Peter says, can I send you pictures of nothing I painted and just title it Time Flies? Getting that's it, mate. Luke Pryor says, maybe the Joan of Arc dragon. It's for this May, mate, not for next May. But if you can get it done, mate, you can get it done. George says, thanks Andy. Flyer, okay, better finish that dragon then. There you go, mate. John says, some Aeronauticus Imperialis models might fit the bill. Absolutely. If you're doing any X-Wing repaints or anything like that, if you're doing if you're playing Kings of War Armada and you've got some flyers for your Armada faction or something like that, add them in there. If you've got dragons, if you've got the flying Arales models or something like that, I'm trying to think anything tangible. I would even consider Spider-Man flying through the air on a web kind of thing. Anything like that kind of stuff. Tabletop Ramble says, great work there, peeps. Might even pull my finger out and paint something myself. Need to think what I can do flyer-wise. Cheers, BlackJack Legacy, and everyone else. Pleasure as always. Thank you very much, buddy. Super Pumpkin Man said he's got plenty of things with wings. Luke says, good point, well made. Yes, so that's what it is. So, starts today, starts from now. I'll put all of this information at the Facebook group and the Patreon group and the YouTube community tab. I'll put all this up tomorrow. But you've basically got 4 weeks to complete this. And again, it's just, come fly with me. As long as it flies or it floats or it hovers or whatever it is, include it. Peter saying, Tau drones for Kill Team, Asterian drones for Dead Zone. There you go, mate. John says he's got to clear off the photography shelf. Yeah. And Super Pokemon says, yeah, X-Wing stuff. Now I have a few other ideas. Anything like that. If you can somehow, no matter how tenuous, link it in, I'm happy. All I'm trying to do is encourage people to pick up a paintbrush and maybe, motivate you to pick something up because you haven't painted something in a while, and it might just spur you on to doing something. That's all I'm trying to do. Come fly with me. Let's fly away. I'm not singing it, that's for sure. So yes, folks, that's the plan for next month. Well, like I say, we'll get all the information up tomorrow, and then we'll see where you all are in 4 weeks' time. So we got about 10 minutes left. Quite happy to sit and ramble for a bit. If anybody wants to ask any questions, wants to talk about anything specific, let me know what you're up to. Let me know what you're working on. Randall Burt said, VG says, after 3 coffees I float. Takes me about 5 these days, mate, to be fair. Randall saying, appreciate the hobby motivation for sure. Always been hard for me to do that part. Yeah, I can be the same, mate. It motivates me as well, to be honest. So it's never a bad thing. Phil Campbell says, lovely work, everyone. Excellent entries all round night, folks. Thanks for entering as well, mate. Take care, buddy. Randall saying, thanks for the stream. New to the channel and really like what I'm seeing so far. Very kind of you, Randall. Thank you very much for your kind words, mate. Super Punky Man says, where's the bacon? I did have a bacon sandwich on Saturday. My little boy wanted to go out for breakfast. My wife was away for the weekend. Perfect opportunity, so I had a bacon sandwich. Blair says, great work by all. Have to find something that flies. Yeah, like I say, just kind of think outside the box. If you don't have anything that obviously springs to mind, think about something that you want to paint. And if you can convince me that it flies, even if it's just because it's been kicked across the room, yeah, let's work with that. John says, I get kind of jumpy around the 5 coffee mark. Yeah, I'm getting old now though. My tolerance to it's starting to wear off. My tolerance is kind of getting stronger. That's what I meant. Paul Taylor says, another great stream off the bed. Thank you very much. VG says, great work, everyone. Time to split. Got to get a little guy ready for school. Take care, mate. Have an awesome day. And Ian says, the internet is made of bacon. Prove me wrong. I don't think I can, mate. I don't think I can prove you wrong. It's quite possible it might be made of bacon. I'll be perfectly honest. So I must remember to cancel my Audible account. I just saw something come out of my bank there. I'm thinking, what's coming out of my bank at this time of night? A bloody Audible subscription. I keep forgetting to cancel it. I haven't cancelled it because I've got loads of credits to use. And if you cancel it, you lose any credits, I think, which is why they keep you kind of buying it. And if I try and cancel it, they'll offer me some free credits or a free month or something like that. I need some extra books. I've got a couple of books that I'm busy listening to, and I want to kind of get through them before I buy anything else. Regis saying, catch you all on Discord. Peter saying, we haven't eaten the internet yet, so you've proven wrong. Digital bacon. Oh, I wonder if that's that could be like a new kind of digital currency, like Bitcoin or something, couldn't it? Like just digital bacon. I'd pay for things in digital bacon. Definitely would. Anyway, I think on that note, it's probably a good time to round it out. So, yeah, Bitcoin. I like that, Randall. Nice one. That is definitely the point to call this to an end. We're not going to get anything funnier than Bitcoin. So thank you, Randall, for that. So thank you, everybody. If you haven't seen my latest videos on painting the Marauders or painting the Enforcers, please do check it out. They're not doing as well as I would have hoped, but I'm still going to plow on with the stuff. This week, I'm finishing off painting my Enforcers and painting my Marauders, and then I can do the last video or two in the box to board series, which will be the kind of the gameplay type stuff. So unfortunately, I need to finish the painting first before I can get that next video done. But yeah, stick with it. If you want to help support the channel, please do check out the Patreon. Come and sort of chat in the Discord with everybody. And I will see you next Monday for another Monday night live stream. So take care, folks. Bitcoin, I can't get over that one. Thanks, mate. I'll see you next time.